Welcome everybody to the first midweek roundup. My name is the Chef, aka JT, and we're here to do a recap of today and what it's going to look like going into tomorrow and the rest of the week. So before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe this video so you can keep up to date with future videos and future content that we may have. All right, so today we had the NASDAQ actually closing down almost 0.84% here after hours. We did have Google report yesterday, and those numbers did come in ahead of expectations. But the market, as we can see here, and we'll kind of dial in just a little bit here, we'll look here at the 15-minute chart of today's action, and we just traded lower all day long. We had that initial push lower here, as you can see off the New York Open. Actually, let's bring it down just a little bit smaller time frame so you guys can see this. It's a little bit better. Here's 9:30, and you can see we had that initial push lower off the New York here. Here's the New York opening range right here. We had that nice push lower, but we did get a bounce eventually, and which what ended up being a pretty decent retracement off of the highs. Actually, if you were to do a nice little fib from the high to that low, you can see how things played out today. You can see how we rejected that 50.61.8 later on in the morning, and look where we hit the target right here after hours, which is just a beautiful setup. It's so nice when things like that seem to work out. But regardless of that, the market, while it had that initial push higher yesterday off the earnings report, you can see that happen right, let's see, this is 4 o'clock here. You can see we had that initial push higher in the Asian and Globex sessions. But once we got towards London, we ended up starting to fall off a little bit. And once New York came around, that bearish sentiment started to set in. It's going to be kind of interesting the next couple of days with how we've got the election coming up next Tuesday, along with some other earnings and some other things to check out. And I'll be showing you guys that here in just a moment. So looking forward here on NQ. As you can see here, let's look again on the daily chart. We'll zoom this in here a little bit, but you can see that right now we're still firmly bullish in the daily pattern here. We're above all of our EMAs, SMAs, but that being said, today's candle was not the most bullish candle, especially given the price action that we have. After hours, we also had Meta report, which was initially down at the recording of this video, as well as Microsoft, which was up. So we might have a little bit of a wash there. All right, let's look at ES real quick. Let's check that out with the ES E-mini futures. And let's look at what we got here. So today, this was maybe a little bit more bearish. Yesterday's price action, we've kind of been having a lot of small bodied candles with a lot of wicks, so a lot of damage here on the daily chart. But you can see today was very much an engulfing candle of the prior day's session. Now earlier today, and I'll show you this, and you'll see this here actually on the smaller time frame. You guys see this line right here, which that actually represents the 20-day simple moving average on the daily chart. So we actually bounced off of that yesterday. And then today, we retested that again this morning. But we have now found ourselves again sitting right there after hours once again. So kind of surprising to see. We've tested it now once, twice, but now 3 times. And third time might be a charm. Bearishness might start settling in. So initially today, we had that initial drive lower. We did settle right into that 20-day as well as to the prior New York opening range. So once we saw that, we did get a nice, strong, violent bounce actually, and we ended up running all the way back up to London's highs. But once we got to that point, it's pretty much bearish sentiment the rest of the way through. In fact, end of day, nice little fib set up right there at the end, right off that 50% retracement, and right to the target at the end of the day. So bearish fibs are now working. All right, let's look at gold here real quick. I know that some of our traders like to look at gold, so let's look at GC. Oops, that is the wrong GC. So gold continues to run up, hit $2,800 an ounce today, which is just remarkable. Firmly bullish, just a very bullish pattern. Intraday here, as you can see here, just a very strong grind to the upside. And we did make a little bit of a double top here this afternoon at the London highs. So I'm anxious to see if we kind of push through that into tomorrow, or if that double top will present us maybe a little bit of a retracement back to where we traded here at New York or in the Globex sessions. And I wouldn't be surprised, given the fact of the strength of this move higher, that we actually come all the way back down to these previous areas that we made just this past Tuesday. All right, last thing here is CL, which is crude oil. Let's take a look at that. Go back to the daily chart here real quick on crude. And you can see here on crude oil, we've pretty much had price pretty much squeezing between two trends. So we've got this trend line right here, and then we also have this trend line right here, which we now tested, but we're trying to move back into. So even if you want to say right here, price is kind of squeezing right into this, and actually kind of makes sense to me moving into the election. I think we're going to see a nice strong move out of this range based upon who wins. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work out, but I believe that is what we'll see. Now, let's take a look at the things that we have this week. And today we did have a lot of earnings pre-market. After close today, we have Microsoft, Meta, Hood, Starbucks, Coinbase, DoorDash, Roku, just some of the big names there. If you want to look at what we got going on tomorrow, in the morning we have Uber, we've got MasterCard, Roblox, Altria, Shell, a couple names there, Comcast, Southern Company, Cigna. After hours tomorrow, big ones, we've got Apple, Amazon, Intel, as well as I think that's it for the big names. We do have US Steel and Team as well. All right, and then looking forward to Friday, a lot of oil names. So we've got ExxonMobil, Chevron, and that's going to be in the morning, Dominion Energy. One big point, though, for Friday and also into tomorrow is we look at the economic calendar here for the week. And so we have got tonight the Bank of Japan policy report. So you're going to see some massive moves in the after hours, especially in the NASDAQ, bonds, gold, all of those things, any dollar related assets. You're going to see massive moves because the yen likes to move our markets big time. Tomorrow in the morning, we do have that press conference. We do have CPI coming out 6 a.m. here for the euro. And then tomorrow we have the Fed's favorite indicator, which is PCE in regards to inflation. So PCE tomorrow, that's supposed to come in at 0.3%. We also have unemployment claims and the employment cost index. We have PMI at 945. And last but not least, again on Friday, we've got the big one. We have the non-farm payroll and unemployment report. That's going to move the markets big time. The markets are very much focused on what's going on with employment, so we'll see how that works out. We also have ISM manufacturing and PMI data as well. So we've got a loaded week ahead still with big names reporting, and you want to make sure that you're keeping your risk at a minimum right now with all this coming up and the election. It's going to be a wild time. Some of you guys, this will be the first election you've ever traded in. So again, if you like this video, make sure you like it, drop a comment below what's your favorite thing about it, what we can add to these videos, and I appreciate you guys so much. Have a great rest of your day.